Tell me whenever.
We can start whenever.
And you said Carl and Margot are on.
Carl, yes, yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Margot has her hand up, but I'm trying to promote her to a panelist and. Oh, she put it down. She must have heard me say that.
All right, we're good to go. Let's get started. So it is 12:01 on Thursday, May 25th, and we're going to go ahead and start our communications committee meeting. I'm Dora Wilson, member Dora Wilson, communications chair. If everybody else in the room wants to introduce themselves, that would be great. Amanda, you want to start? Go.
I'm Amanda Foster, executive assistant for the board.
Andrew Holloman, board member.
Garrett Bryant, superintendent.
MJ Communications.
And Amanda, if you can help out with who's online so they can
Yes.
introduce as well.
We have member Jacobs online and member Bellamy online.
Perfect. Thank you guys for attending. It's the end of the school year. Yay. I know you guys are super excited. I'll be working through the summer, but.
Me too. What are you talking about?
Most of us not
Yay for you.
So well, that's a good
Okay,
segue.
never mind on the yay. Yay for our teachers. And we will, actually, MJ, I'm gonna pivot to you on most of this, but let's start with our welcome. And Sonia Hunt has just joined as well. We're gonna go ahead and start with our 2022, 2023 school year recap. MJ, you wanna start with that?
Yeah, so we kicked it off, really was more about, we operated in crisis communication for the better part of the first half of the school year, and it was our bus transportation, then our budget solutions, school closures, and then we transitioned into snowpocalypse or snowmageddon, whichever way we wanted to phrase that. And then we started to transition into just other messaging, and that included school bonds, and then graduation, and now we're looking for going into the summer. We're going to start bus transportation the first week of June. We're going to support recruiting efforts per the superintendent. We're going to be allowed this summer with our need to recruit bus drivers. And so my team's going to support recruitment with a couple messaging projects, and we're going to we'll start launching that the week of June 5th. And then our back to school messaging will begin earlier this year. It'll start the week of June 10th. And that will be able to complement bus transportation, and then we'll kick in the school start times, specifically for those delayed starts on Mondays. And we wanted to make sure that we're getting that information out to our families. And so that's why we're going to start our back to school messaging earlier this year, so we can make sure that families are prepared for the new changes on Monday, as well as the support that the district's going to work on helping out with the families that have childcare concerns.
Awesome. Does anybody have any comments, questions? Anybody online? Member Jacobs, President Bellamy?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
so I was just thinking as MJ was going through his list of, this has been a heck of a year. And I tell you, I really can't, I don't think I've seen a year where we've had so many crucial communication issues that needed to be handled. And, whether it was the bus drivers, the school closure, the budget conversations, the closing of Abbott Loop, it's just been one thing after another. And I just want to commend our MJ and his team for the work that they put into really elevating, not just communicating, but elevating the district's profile. Our message is about kids, and I hear it on the radio, I hear it on the TV, and I just think that that's a plus. That's a plus for this board. It's a plus for the administration, and I cannot imagine the weight that has brought to that department in terms of just trying to juggle all the messaging. So I just want to, I say all that to say thank you, and not just for the work that you do, but for the profile that this district now has. No matter where we're looking to find information, it's there. So thank you.
Thanks.
I completely agree. I echo that, and MJ is wonderful. His team is wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Doing a little
appreciate the
rebuild.
work they do. Yeah. His team was wonderful.
But I will say, well, we're gonna try to do better this summer with reaching families that English is their second language, trying to look past, we do a lot of website push, but we really got to do a better job of connecting with those families that don't have that access, and look at ways that we can also have some of those communications translated better. So it's kind of like one of my goals moving into next year with our messaging.
That's awesome.
And of course, Madam Chair, if I might, I know somebody, unless anybody else wants to speak, it is really all about the messaging. And that is one of my highlights this year. That kind of, I continue to learn. And one of my learnings and a highlight for me this year is messaging matters. What we do matters, yes, but how we communicate that really matters. So I've learned a lot this year, and I'm not sure if, I know the department is getting some overhaul. I mean, we've got people leaving and we've got opportunities to hire other people. So I just want to make sure that we continue to provide resources to communications and community engagement, because it's this board that requested all of this added work for them. And we just need to make sure that we are tracking and making sure that they have what they need. So with that, I'll just leave it up to Dr. Bryant to make sure that happens.
No, thank you. And Andy, you have something to share?
I just want to ask how Abbott Loop is going. I think the public press looks good. The stories have been on television and whatnot. They're not glossing it over, but there seems to be a lot of positive responses from students and staff.
Yeah, it was that was a little delicate. We had Channel 2 and Channel 5 were there on Tuesday morning. And we're trying to work around that because they wanted to cover the moment, but also the sensitivity that the families and staff, and especially like the students were having. So that was I felt like we got a good message out, but it was definitely a touchy topic to try and navigate through to help, with that. So I would say they're probably as good as expected, considering the emotional roller coaster that they've been on since we announced that they were on the list, with that. So just a super delicate topic to navigate and try to support, but we just tried to follow the principal's lead and lead it up to her to help navigate, because she knows her community best. And kind of there to do it. So from that side, I feel, we supported where we could. And then we've outreached to the principals of Cassoon and Trailside to offer up our support for them when they are ready to start with their back to school, and how we can outreach and support the new families coming in and making sure that they feel welcomed and stuff. But again, like leaning into the two principals to take that lead, because they know their school best. And I don't want to come in and do that. So just really kind of being here to support, let us know what you need kind of vibe.
Yeah, I thought the coverage on TV did a really good job. They acknowledge the fact that it's sad in a certain way, but they also got some good shots of kids and parents and staff that are looking ahead.
Yeah. And we had a community event a couple weeks ago, I think. Yeah. And then just a celebration, and the principal put together, it was student led. And there were 3 student MCs, and one of which the dad or the parents are in the out there, and there was so much pride that the parents were having for their student up there. And it was just, you could feel
That's good.
that positive, energy. You were there, you saw.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And nice handing the batons to the new principals, and they got to speak to the students and let them know
Oh,
that
good.
they're part of their communities. And really, since January, February, those principals have been engaged with the Abbott principal. They've been collaborating on the internal comms, and that was really the priority, is at the student and parent level, they know what's next.
Right.
So we were able to culminate into this community event that really was about the rich history of the school.
Awesome.
Margot has her.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd just like to share a letter that I got and a photo regarding, they had the kids from Abbott Loop went to both Trailside and what was the other one? What's the other school they're going to? So,
Cassoon.
yeah, Cassoon. And at each site, they partnered the Abbott Loop kids with a current student at the school, at each of the schools. So they had partners, they had learning partners and transition partners. They didn't call them transition partners, but it was amazing to see, to hear rather, because I did not see it, but to hear how the excitement that the kids expressed in meeting each other, hanging out with each other, and exploring their new school. So I really do commend the principals and the PTAs and everybody who made that possible, because that one moment meant the world to those kids and to the families. Having the kids go to the schools, their future schools, meet people who are there that will be there. So they were hanging out with fifth graders and whatever their grade level was. So they will know somebody when they go into that building in the fall. So that was a heartwarming story. So I just wanted to share that.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else have any questions on the school year recap or comments? All right, so let's move on to summer communication plans.
I just talked about
Oh, never mind. Let's move on again.
It's a good segue.
You
into-
incorporated it all in there.
Well, no, it's a good segue into Sonia, because she's got a back to school event planned, and so that's going to be part of the messaging for back to school too.
Mhm.
So there's a segue
Perfect.
for summer planning.
For either one of you, would you like to speak next, Sonia, since I'm off the list anyway?
Yeah, it's okay. Well, good afternoon, Madam Chair, Superintendent, members of the board. I'm happy to provide just a brief update on the Back to School Backpack Jam. It's kind of a tongue twister, but say it with me, actually. Back to School
Backpack Jam.
Backpack Jam. Okay.
Backpack
So
Jam.
the Office of Equity and Community Engagement is hosting a Back to School Backpack Jam event. We hope to equip 5,000 students with school supplies prior to the start of the 2023-24 school year. This year, we are looking forward to partnering we're looking forward to partnering with a variety of organizations. This event will be advertised via social media, inside ASD, and other communication channels. The event will be held Saturday, July 22nd at the Ed Center from 12 p.m. until 4 p.m. I will say that we looked at having it at Northway Mall, the Park Strip, but this seems to be a centralized location, particularly towards the east side of town, where many of our families could benefit from being from us partnering to make sure that school children have supplies to start the school year. And so this really will call for support again from external and internal partners who can attend the Anchorage School District students and families. This is also a location where People Mover Route 10 runs right outside of the building, and we have ample parking. The school supplies list that we've compiled so far include, of course, the backpacks, pencils, erasers, pens, calculators, scissors, glue, markers, colored pencils, crayons, composition books, loose leaf paper, folders, and more. And this, of course, one of our biggest collaborators on this is the School Business Partnership area. So far, we have 500 backpacks coming from Credit Union One, who's always stepping up to the table. As a community member, I will say that Credit Union One, even in my community life, which often overlaps with ASD, always seems to come through. We also have local schools that have been contacted because they have additional supplies in terms of resources. The Ohana Media Group has agreed to provide a Master of Ceremonies to make it a fun event at EP. ConocoPhillips, we have an application in submitted for sponsorship. Just a quick note added on that, we have a gold, silver, and bronze package level for sponsorship. The United Way has agreed to place donation bins in the community. And we are about to send, actually to the superintendent's office before sending it to the Chamber of Commerce requesting some assistance as well. We are looking forward to the partners, external partners that we've talked with so far are really excited about this first time annual event. In terms of media, MJ and I have connected in the month of April, and there'll be more connections there on the branding of the event. The branding will be similar to the back to school branding that was done last year to keep it consistent, so that families, it's familiar to families, right? We know that people need to see things about 7 times before it kind of registers, so consistency is good. We hope to have a sponsor for hot dogs, chips, cookies, drinks.
I have somebody in mind.
Okay.
You got it.
Overall, I will say outside of this event, just our year-end outcomes for community engagement. And let me just give a kudos, because our team is small. It's like 2 full-time staff and 2 part-time staff. So as you know, at the beginning of this year, we penned a memo to really make it clear what the volunteer process is, especially the screening portion of that, to make sure that we're having the right people around our children. And so far for the year, 9,459 persons were screened. And so very few of them, like I could count on 2 hands, were, and maybe a foot, were denied access to our schools and our children. And for the first time, this has included even our PTA, PTO members. We want to make sure that we're consistent with our safety and security around that. The office has also participated in 16 Saturday events that include but aren't limited to Reading Rendezvous, Dia del Nino, the 8th Annual Black Business Expo, and Willow's Winter Family Fun Day. So 2 of those events named so far are local school events and the Bridge Builders Diversity Fair. And so kudos to the office for making that sacrifice to work on weekends to make sure that we're visible in the community. The 5th and final MECAC meeting for this year will be held in the boardroom this evening at 6 p.m. We are serving dinner. We're really excited about that. We know that it's the end of the year and usually community participation usually wanes by the end of the year, but we're still expecting a decent crowd to be able to wrap up the MECAC year. And so that's where we are. That concludes, barring any questions, my community engagement.
That was fabulous. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you.
amazing. I'm so excited that the district is at so many events outside of, all of these community events. I was at many of those myself, so it was really nice to see us having a booth there.
Yeah, and during especially the times of like the school closure conversation, many people had questions about that. So it was good to be able to even have the PowerPoint with us so that we could use as talking points so that there isn't misinformation going out to the community. It's also an opportunity to create that 2-way communication loop. So it's not just us speaking to the community, but the community sharing their concerns with us or asking questions of us. And plus, people really love the collateral, particularly those little mini packs of like tissue.
Promo, I'm telling you,
Listen, it works. It works.
Promo's very popular. Awesome. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Oh, I see a hand. President
Yeah.
Bellamy.
Just really briefly, that's Dr. Hunt, that sounds, I mean, that sounds amazing. What can the board do to assist? I know we can volunteer, but if you can come up with any specific things that you need or you would like the board to join with you on, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and thank you, President Bellamy, for being one of those volunteers during a crisis time and being a
Cheerleader?
no, like the
Bus person?
the bus the crossing guard.
Crossing guard, yes.
Crossing guard.
I remember.
I was thinking, you know, going for definitely being crossing guard and being one of those volunteers. And one of the things that we do appreciate is that when the board does share community events that are happening where we can have a presence. And I want to give a shout out to talent management as they attended some of those events with us to be able to, again, bridge that gap between the community and ASD. So continue to definitely let us know what's happening in the community. We've compiled a list that actually I can share so that the board members of the board can definitely come and kind of just check everything out and answer some questions too, and continue to interact with the community.
I think that would be amazing if you let the board know when the district is going to have a booth or an event so that we can have the opportunity to join or stop by or
I can put them on
volunteer.
calendar.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Absolutely.
Love that. And also, I can get with you and your team to let me know what supplies you're trying to find so I can help. Because those are promo. And
Yes,
so there are many organizations in town, so I can speak with our school business partnerships and partners
absolutely.
to try to provide some of that.
The
I have
wink
a few in
works.
mind. The wink goes very far. I have a few others that I can call too, so yeah, no, absolutely.
Thank you.
That'd be awesome. We want to make sure it's a wonderful event and all of our students that and families that come have the opportunity to get their backpack and their supplies and it's an amazing opportunity for our community partners to be featured as well. So
Yes.
that's perfect. That's awesome. So Member Jacobs, did you have anything? I don't think he has his hand up. Okay, perfect. Anybody else in the room?
How are you? It's good to see you. Thank you very much.
Looks very social.
I forgot to introduce her.
Wait,
When
oh,
we were
sure.
running around, you know,
Okay, since
stating who's in the room.
There's my grandpa. I did not introduce him. This is Shug. He's been hanging with me today, so he got to join in the meeting as well. I was trying to hide him. So- Any other comments, questions? Because I know you guys all have busy schedules, so I don't want to keep you. If we've already gone through the agenda.
If I might,
Yes, please.
for our next meeting, when we kick off, probably, when is our next meeting?
Our next
August.
communications meeting.
This is the last.
Communications meeting. I would just like to put on the agenda, the board's community engagement calendar. I'm going to be meeting with a couple of staff just to get some feedback on what we already have a calendar in place, but we have not been implementing it because of everything that we dealt with this year. We have not been implementing, that two-way communication piece that Dr. Hunt just talked about. And so I'm thinking we probably we need to update it. So if we can just get this community engagement calendar, the board's community engagement calendar on that August agenda, that would be great. And I'll work with Amanda, Kathy, and Katie to have that ready for presentation at that time.
No, that's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate
Madam
it.
Chair.
Member Jacobs?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to express appreciation for Ms. Hunt's report and also MJ's report on comms. We've got a really great team. They've done amazing work this year. It feels like we're already talking about next year, so I wanted to make sure we took time to reflect on the amount of tumult that the board and therefore the district has had to navigate since last fall. So we couldn't have been as successful as we were without each of your respective teams and Dr. Bryant leading the way. So thank each of you for your work.
Thank you, Member Jacobs. Member Holloman, any last comment? Nope. Anybody? I'd say we are adjourned. Go ahead, second, Danny, just for the sake.
Thank you.
Roll call.
President Bellamy, did you have something? One last comment?
Oh, no, I was just saying, thank you, guys.
Oh, yes, thank you.
You can start governance now.
But no, during bargaining in the late 2000s, like.
We're already there.
I can't believe we're already in May.
Ish,
Right, years long.
Um,
Yeah.
Carol was pretty